Hey guys, and we're back, and in today's video I'll be making this lovely cake. But first, let me show you what I got up to in my kitchen this week. I am an experimentalist, and I guess I would try anything once if it's safe. But in the kitchen today I decided to make some garlic powder. It was a trial and error, but we got there in the end. So let's start off with showing you how I done it. As this was a trial, I really wanted to go really slowly, so I started off with just one bulb of garlic, and I took all the cloves off to start off with. Once I'd done that, I started peeling them. I realised though after that I could use the skins, which is really good for this recipe. Anyway, I started to peel them off, and they're coming away a little bit harder than I thought because I'm doing it the hard way, of course. But yeah, I just got to peeling and I got up to chopping them up. So you can chop them up as much as you want, chop them up small, or you can put them in the food processor, which will be really handy because that will do all the work for you. Now I'll call this process a trial and error because I ended up starting off doing the garlic powder one way and ended up doing it another way, and I guess that's what happens in life really. You just trial, you figure it out, and then you go again really. So yeah, that's how it went on, and I'll show you the results a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm preparing all this garlic. It isn't that much, but when you start peeling them and cutting them, if you don't have a garlic press or anything like that, it does tend to come out, or does tend to be a little bit longer than you'd imagined. But because I love cooking, because I love preparing food, this wasn't too bad for me actually, if I'm going to be honest. So yeah, this is me chopping up all my garlic, and yeah, I'm getting it ready for the air fryer. Now, I've done some research before I done this, so I was quite confident in what I was doing, but unfortunately it didn't really work out that way. But anyway, I'm going to show you the process, and maybe I might revisit again and do this again to see where I've gone wrong. But anyway, I put the garlic in the air fryer and I set it for the air fryer function, and I put it on the lowest setting, which was about 150, and then I put it on for about 10 minutes. Now this is what I was seeing all on my research on TikTok and I thought, okay, let me try this and see how I get on. So I left it in there for about 10 minutes. During the time, halfway approximately, I started tossing it, and I could see it getting brown, as what you can see on your screens at the moment. So yeah, I was giving it a bit of a toss, and I was making sure that it was dry enough. And I think this is probably where I went wrong. So I was hoping that once the 10 minutes was up, that I would get this sort of like quite stiff, quite thin looking garlic, which was easy to snap. So I didn't, so I kept going for a little bit longer than 10 minutes, and I still didn't get that kind of appearance on the garlic. So I kept going, and I'm realizing that I'm burning my garlic. Now, if anybody knows who does cooking, when you cook garlic for too long, it ends up being rather bitter. So this is what happened. I didn't realize until I actually tried it, but I put it in the blitzer, and yeah, I came out, and then there's no footage of that because I was so upset. But anyway, I'd done a bit more research, and I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to put it in the oven. So I put it on the lowest setting in the oven to dehydrate as much as it can. And instead of doing garlic, I'm going to do garlic and onions as well. So I've done red onions. So I gave this a try. I cut up my onions, and also I prepared some garlic, and I've done a small batch because I don't really want to waste a lot of produce. Anyway, so yeah, I done that, cut up my garlic, cut up my onions, and away we go. Yes, so this is the other method. The other method is to dehydrate your onions and your garlic or whatever vegetable you want to in the oven. And I must warn you, this process takes a long time. So you've got to actually cut up your vegetables, put them on the baking tray, like I am doing now. And then you put it in your oven and you put it on the lowest setting. Now this can go in the oven, and this can actually stay in the oven for about 10 to 12 hours. Yeah, I was that committed. So I put this on low setting and I put it roughly, I would say, about 8 to 10 hours. It does take a while, but because you have to have that sort of like texture where it's really dry and it's able to snap, there's no water in it as well. So this goes in the oven for that long period of time, and then once you're done, you can then blitz it like I done last time. So yeah, this is my garlic. My garlic came out really well. I'm really happy. So yeah, that's me blitzing it up. Yeah, so I just put it back in the grinder and that is done. As you can see, it has this really sort of like powdery texture, which is really good, and I'm really pleased because it came out much better than it did in the air fryer. So yeah, that's the consistency, that's the colour, it's looking really well. Anyway, I've done the same for the red onion and that came out really well. There's me blitzing it up. Once done, I also put it in a container, and yeah, that came out really well as well. Now I'd say you could use your blitzer or your NutriBullet, whatever you need to get this done. I think it's even better if you use the grinder blade as well. So yeah, that came out and it came out really well. I'm really pleased. Anyway, let's move on to the pied de la resistance. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, I bought a plantain and it was green. And yeah, I had a green plantain, and because of this warm weather that we're having in the UK, it actually ripened so quick. It got to the point where it went really ripe because I never used it, and I never used it in time. So I decided to myself I would not want this to go to waste. So I am making a plantain cake. Now the ingredients are almost similar to a banana cake. So this is quite really a nice cake, and it came out so gorgeous as well. The only things that are slightly different is that if you're using plain flour, that you have to put baking soda and baking powder inside of the ingredients of the cake so that it comes out nice and fluffy. So to make this cake, mash your ripe plantain in a separate bowl until it's nice and creamy. And in another bowl, you want to put your wet ingredients. So in this bowl, I have 100 grams of brown sugar, like 2 eggs, and you also need 120 mils of coconut milk. Now, this is the thing that makes it so nice and luscious. Anyway, once you put that together, you also want to add some vanilla, which I have. This is the Caribbean vanilla that loads of Caribbeans use, so I added that for a little bit of spice. Now you want to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking soda, and you want to add that to 185 grams of all-purpose or plain flour. Add a pinch of salt and mix together. Don't forget to add 115 grams of melted butter to your wet ingredients. Make sure that your melted butter is at a temperature where it won't scramble your eggs. Now, I added a little bit of almond essence to my wet ingredients just to give a little bit more flavour, and then I started mixing all the ingredients together. So in go the mashed plantain to the wet ingredients, and yeah, I then started to add in the flour. Now because you've added those raising agents, you want to make sure that you're not beating the flour too much, so mix it in a folding fashion. Now I found some milk chocolate chips in the fridge, and I thought I'd give this a try and add it to the cake. You can add raisins or walnuts, the choice is yours. So yeah, I mixed it all together and I put it in the oven for about 40 to 50 minutes. You want your oven temperature at about 185, and yeah, to make sure that it's cooked, you want to put a knife inside in the middle, and if it comes out clean, then it's ready to go. And yeah, these are my results, and let me tell you, this went down such a treat in the household. Honestly, it was so lovely, just the right amount of sweetness, and yeah, the chocolate chips really set it off, I must admit. Yeah, this didn't last long at all in the home. So yeah, that is my plantain cake. I'm so happy and that it came out so lovely. Anyway, that's all for now. Make sure you come back for some more videos. Definitely I'll be putting some more up, and I can't wait to see you back here again. Bye.